This is Keith Singer. Welcome to our segment called Making a Difference, where each week we hear from a successful person who has not only been successful in their own right, but has taken the time to give back and make a difference in other people's lives. We have with us Joan Rivers, who is an internationally renowned comedian, Emmy Award-winning television talk show host, Tony Award-nominated actress, best-selling author, playwright, director, and, of course, a red carpet fashion laureate. Her continued relevance is made clear by a growing group of more than 2 million followers on Twitter and a successful web series. Above all, though, Joan is a proud mother and grandmother. Currently, Joan's just finished writing her new book, Diary of a Mad Diva, from Penguin Books. Her 12th book is a no-holds-barred, delightfully vicious, and always hilarious book. Look at everyday life of the ultimate diva. And, of course, we all count on Joan to police the fashion of celebrities on Fashion Police, which airs every Friday night on E! Hello, Joan. How are you?
I'm great. My God, that's a lot of stuff I did.
It's a nice introduction, right? Well, most importantly, Joan, I know you continue to work tirelessly on behalf of charities that are close to your heart.
No, not tirelessly.
No?
When I have time.
When you have time. Okay, well.
I love when they all say, I work tirelessly. No, you don't. You work tirelessly on your career, but you help with charity, too.
Well, you're a hard worker, and everyone knows it. Tell us about this great organization called God's Love, We Deliver.
Well, that's the one that when I played on Celebrity Apprentice, I played for them.
Okay. And
it was, I think, one of the first AIDS organizations. It wasn't even called AIDS in that day. It was called gay pneumonia. And we used to bring on bicycles meals to people that were very, very, very ill and couldn't get out anymore. And then it grew into God's Love We Deliver, and then it grew into the largest regional meal delivery, hot meals every single day, and custom made to what the people could or could not eat in New York and around New York. And then, thank God, AIDS has become chronic rather than a death sentence. So we've now branched out, and it's anybody that really is ill and needs food, not just AIDS.
Yeah, I was reviewing your financials. It's a wonderful charity. You help people
that are... It's really a great charity.
That are sick, and over 80% of the money that's raised, or about 80% of the money that's raised, goes to actually help people, which is really, really high.
And you have to be we're very, very careful about that. There's nothing worse than, I'm not going to mention names,
right?
That you hear of a charity and you say, well, they gave, and then you realize they keep it all for their administration costs,
right.
And very little trickles out. So we have, I think, my God, the volunteers that we have over 8,000 volunteers.
Wow, that's incredible.
It's incredible.
What made you get involved with this particular charity?
Well, show business. So many of my friends were ill with AIDS, and nobody was paying attention, and nobody was giving them any help. And it wasn't at that point, I hate the term, like a sexy charity.
Right.
It wasn't until Elizabeth Taylor got on board that everyone went, oh, well, okay. And so they needed meals, and they needed special meals. This one couldn't have salt, and this one couldn't have fish. And so we began to literally make them in a very small kitchen up in Harlem first. And then we'd bike them down to people. We couldn't even afford a truck. And then eventually, it went, as I said, it got bigger and bigger and bigger. Now we're going to a new building, and Michael Kors is one of our sponsors, and David Geffen. So it's gotten to a point now where it's a terrific charity.
I know many of our listeners are well off, fortunately, and they can't even imagine what it would be like to be afflicted with an illness that prevents them from working and leaves them without any support system.
You can't cook, and you have no money. And as I said, nobody wanted to know about AIDS. I remember the first friend of mine who had AIDS, and I went to visit him. I was scared to pick up a plate in his house. I remember the phone rang,
right.
And I didn't want to touch the phone to answer it.
Yeah.
Because nobody knew. Is it contagious? Is it this? Is it viral? Nobody knew what the hell was even going on in those days. And so that we actually brought meals around it sounds so stupid, was a very brave thing to do.
It is, I'm sure. And, I was looking at the financials. It looks like only about 27% goes to HIV/AIDS patients right now.
Yeah.
The rest is going to cancer and kidney
it
disease
goes to
and
cancer,
Alzheimer's.
It goes to
and heart disease. People.
Yeah, heart, whatever, anyone that's really in trouble. And the thing is, we don't question. If they call up and they say, I need food, they get food. We don't wait for them to get 6 doctor's reports,
Right.
and we check them out.
I understand you actually spend some time delivering some meals occasionally.
Oh, yeah. I still deliver. I make sure I deliver, and my grandson, every Thanksgiving, that's our ritual. He lives in California. He comes into New York, and the first thing we do in the morning, we go out and we deliver our meals. And boy, oh boy, does that set, it sounds so self-serving, but boy, does it set you up for the day.
Yeah.
You think how lucky, it's Thanksgiving, and how lucky I am.
Yeah, I can imagine, sitting with people, and it probably means the world to them just to have someone to talk to for a few minutes.
Most of them, they're thrilled, and we give them meals for them and always for a companion. So there's always 2 meals go to somebody. We make sure of that. And I think it's, even though they get the meals, and the meals are delicious and all that stuff, I think they love that you come in, you sit and you talk. So many people just are starved for conversation and a new experience in their life.
No, I've done that myself. It is very rewarding, and I would encourage anyone who's listening that wants to get involved to definitely check out the website, God's Love We Deliver. Joan, I know you have a very busy career, and I'm sure your time's valuable. Tell the audience why it's so important to you personally to take time out of your schedule to help other people.
Well, truly, you have to. Now, I hate the term give back, but I think you have to give back. I think celebrities, and a lot of them are forgetting this, you have to be a little bit of a role model. You have to give back. You have to, I think that's part of the job. I hate the term, that's part of the deal.
Did you learn that as becoming a celebrity, or is it something your parents instilled in you?
Oh, I'm sure it comes from your parents.
Right.
I'm sure everything comes from your parents. I know my mother was always working. There was a thing called child guidance, and I know she did that, and that was for single mothers, which now we're talking the 40s.
Right.
Was not quite like now. You pop them out, then 6 years later you get married. In those days, it was very difficult, and it was not the norm, thank God, much better times. And they help mothers, single mothers, and things. My mother was very charitable. My dad was a doctor, and half the patients, I swear to God, I'll pay you next month,
right.
Doc, and he would go, fine.
That's good that they instilled that in you. I know that most of my radio programming is geared towards helping our listeners actually grow their wealth, but I can tell you, listeners, that one of the best ways to grow your wealth is to be generous. I'm certain that the more you give, the more you get, and the wealthier you become. Do you agree with that, Joan?
I do think eventually, and I'm at the stage of my life where it is eventually, that what goes around comes around,
Absolutely.
Live your life that you're proud of yourself.
I'm going to read something from one of the recipients who wrote in. I'm a 99-year-old person, and several years ago I was diagnosed with chronic kidney failure. Everything became harder, and I became weaker, and I couldn't shop or cook for myself. I don't remember how I found out about God's love, but I do remember how astonished I was and how good the food was and how wonderful the people were. The meals were always a real treat, and there were new dishes, including vegetables that I never even heard of. I always had good experience talking to God's Love dietitians. They have always been interested in my likes and dislikes, and I've learned a lot from them about nutrition. So here's someone who's 99, has no one else to turn to, and your organization.
And I'm so proud that he said the meals are delicious. They take such pride in that. They make brownies, the God's Love brownie, that we all buy and give each other at Christmas. I mean, everyone is so proud of what comes out of the kitchen. I'm so glad he mentioned that.
That's great.
Because it's the meals, but the meals should be delicious. It should be good. You should look forward to it.
And not only that, but I think they're delivered by people that are actually spending time with people that are so lonely. And so it's a wonderful, wonderful organization. Obviously, they can go to the website, God's Love We Deliver.
God's Love We Deliver.
And you can make a donation. You can see how you can volunteer. And perhaps if you have...
Come down and chop carrots.
And if you have relatives in New York that need help, maybe they can also benefit from this organization. So obviously, if you do make a donation, it will be tax deductible. This is an organization that qualifies as a charity that you can get a tax deduction. And like I said, I believe that the more you give, the more you get. If you give,
and if you really give a lot of money, we'll name a building after you.
That's always an option. So anyone who's interested in that's one option that's open on the table. So anyway, Joan, anything else you want to add? Because I know your time is busy.
I'm very lucky. I've been very lucky in life, and I think it's very nice to know that it's a lot of it's luck and God, not all of it's hard work,
sure.
And B, it's nice to share it with other people. It really does it really is very self-serving. It makes you feel good.
That's great. So it's good to help people. It's definitely one of the recipes to growing your wealth is to help other people. I can promise you that. So Joan, thank you so much. Be sure to check out Joan's latest book, Diary of a Mad Diva, and her show.
Comes out July 1st, and it's very funny, very irreverent, very politically incorrect, but it's very funny.
That sounds good. And obviously, Fashion Police, Friday nights on
Friday nights in bed with Joan on the Internet, and now we're doing drunken celebrity phone calls on the Internet, too.
Drunken celebrity? What's that about?
I get drunk and I call celebrities.
Okay. I'm going to tune into that.
So much fun.
Everyone, all right, thanks a lot, Joan. Stay tuned for Rush Limbaugh coming up next.